Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. The one and only. If you're watching some other Sprint Ride Option podcast, probably not the real one. You have to be looking at Andrew and Jason. That's really the duo you want to be looking at right now. So if you are not looking at Andrew and Jason thinking you're watching the Sprint Ride Option Podcast, it's not us. So anyways, new episode. It's Jason Aponte. It's Andrew Pasquini. Jason, little sore. He got the 5G upgrade, so be gentle with him today, guys. He just needs little loves today. Jason, other than that, how are you doing entering this Seattle weekend?
I don't know. I might be turning into Magneto, so that's a big plus. And I think that's really what I was looking forward to at this point. So maybe, Spider-Man slept it off one day, and then he woke up and he was shooting webs. So hopefully that's what's going on with me right now. And if I don't turn into Magneto, then the government lied to me, and I'm tired of the government's lies. Also, while you guys are here, if you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Every time that you guys hit a thumbs up, it sends it into the algorithm, gets more eyes on it. Appreciate everybody that's in here as well too. We got our people checking in right now too. So big week though. Big week.
I don't know if you saw my tweet. I already said all that. I said new Sprint Ride Option starts in a little more than 5 minutes. Click the link below. That'll take you to Jason Aponte's YouTube page, and then parentheses, subscribe, like, and turn on those notifications. Know what Jason is doing at all times and hang out. So there you go. We appreciate. He sent a nice shirt to me. He likes the Super Bowl LIV drip. Thank you, Luke, for the donation. So yeah, man, it's Seahawks week. It's gonna be a little spicy on those streets of Twitter, Jason Aponte. Because this isn't just a rivalry for the it's not a rivalry for the players or the teams. It's also a very fun rivalry week for Niner and Seahawk fans. And I wanted to start this off by throwing my hat into the rivalry. And I want to say something. I want a little spicy Pasquini take here. And for those of you here, spicy Pasquini, it's nowhere near what spicy Aponte is. Spicy Aponte is like habanero, or spicy Pasquini's like cinnamon, I guess that's the best thing to say. That's the comparison I'm making. So here's my Seattle slander, because I do love Seattle. Seattle's a fantastic city. You haven't gone, you should go. I would rather listen for a whole year. I can open my Spotify and listen to one song for the whole year. I'd rather that be Bang Bang Niner Gang than anything after Thrift Shop by Macklemore.
Oh wow,
throwing it out there. I would rather take E40's worst song than anything Macklemore's put out.
Unfortunately, I think that now I have PTSD, because here's what's the real problem with the Macklemore thing, and allow me to get on my hip-hop soapbox. Macklemore won Best Rap Album of the Year and was nominated with Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Jay-Z. Make sense. If you think that I don't get over Jalen Hurd over Terry McLaurin, I will never get over that. And if we are discussing hip-hop, please never bring up the Grammys, who has won Grammys, because it is clear they have no idea what that is about. One more thing I wanted to bring up on a real positive note as well, too, Andrew.
Yes.
Yesterday marked the first year anniversary of the Sprint Right Option Podcast.
Wow. We're no longer toddlers. We're now infants.
1 year. I mean,
1 year.
It's our show has grown from different things.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't start as a Sprint Right Option Podcast.
It did not.
It started under something different, and we evolved into this. And yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the first episode of the Sprint Right Option Podcast. And I couldn't have picked someone better to go on this journey with. Obviously, we picked the wrong year to do it. If we would have met the year before, business would have been booming for the 2019.
Booming.
Yeah. But Andrew, I just want to say I appreciate you, man. And I'm so happy that we went on this, and to have people respond to us and enjoy our content. The same people that we see every day, every time that we stream in our chat, the same people on Twitter who understand our inside jokes. It's humbling, and I'm just happy that I'm able to share this with you, buddy, because I couldn't have picked a better person to have gone in this endeavor with.
Jason, I absolutely agree. You listed a few things that have changed in the past year. And by the way, Swift Dog 49, appreciate the donation. You listed things that changed, but like, look how much hasn't changed. We still question the quarterback position. We still talk about the draft. A lot of things haven't changed, but yeah, there's man, yeah, this year, I can't believe it's been a year. I can't believe it's been a year. And for it to be you, I mean, out of all the 49ers Twitter I could have been matched with, because like, you guys learned there's like 49er Twitter Tinder, and I just swiped right on Jason, and I was like, this is the only guy I like. That's a joke. I like a lot of people on 49ers Twitter, but yeah, for this to kind of, it's like, and I know I joke about it. We're starting all sentimental. We'll get into the Seahawks preview here in a second. We want to get everybody in because we're also going to take questions today, guys. So if you guys have
we have a question, and we have a question right here to take too. So
who do you? Oh, that's a good start. But but man, like my thing, and like I know I joke about the whole like, hey, if you see Jason Aponte, tell him you watch the sprint right option for Andrew and not Jason, things like that. But like honestly, like my favorite thing, like, and this isn't even me just saying it, is watching the growth of Jason Aponte this last year. Because he's gotten very. You remember when we were joking, like, hey, when he gets past Barry Bonds' home run total in YouTube subscribers, I would maybe eat some food, which I don't remember what the food combo was, Jason. I know you
chili
remember.
and cinnamon buns.
You don't need to say it. It was a joke.
I did.
It was a joke. And that was when we had to get you to 700 followers and all that stuff. And what are you at now? Like you know this off the top of your head. I'm trying to find it real quick.
Right now, we just passed 4,000.
He's at 4,000. Less than a year ago, we were trying to get this man to 763 followers on or subscribers on the YouTube channel. He's at 4,000. So Jason Aponte is the hardest working man on 49ers Twitter. And my favorite thing this whole thing is seeing how you've grown. So I know this was a 1 year thing for us, but like claps to Jason Aponte. Aponte.
Appreciate that. Not bad for a clickbaiter, also known as Grant Aponte, as what they're calling me right now. But yeah, let's get into the show, man. I mean, I appreciate that, and a lot of what we built, and that's why it was good for me to put out that poll of what's your favorite Sprint Right Option podcast memory, because we have a bunch of them. Realistically, like we have the Tart interview, we have the Guy Haberman Kid Flex, we have our draft episode, Jordan McShay and Brad Kuiper. And and there's some other ones, and someone pointed out Andrew Pasquini's Pro Day is part of Sprint Right Option podcast, and that's part of the big moment of 49ers Twitter. So I mean, all of this stuff happened in a year. I couldn't imagine it, man, and I'm happy that we're sharing it. But hey, everybody's here to talk about Seattle. Let's get into it with the first question, man. Let's do it.
We are here to talk about Seattle Weekend. Yes, we will start with Swift Dog 49er. Show is fire. Appreciate it. Who do you see stepping up and shining on Sunday? I'm going to go Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, man, you took mine.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes.
Oh, let's see if we have the same reasons. Count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Jimmy Garoppolo.
You go.
I watched, I hate to be that guy. Call me Rich Madrid, Jason. I watched the tape, and Seattle gives up a lot of space underneath. And what does Jimmy Garoppolo do the best? He gets those underneath passes and all that fun stuff. Seattle's going to give them the room. All Garoppolo has to do is hit his passes. The Washington football team didn't try to go too deep. They went deep every so often. But
wow,
that's harsh. But he, they didn't go over the top too often. They just kind of took what Seattle gave him. I don't think this is a hot take. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Taylor Heineke. That's my opinion. Might be a hot take. I don't know. I don't think it is. So I really could see Jason Aponte. Yeah, Jason Aponte could shred apart this Seattle secondary. I could see Jimmy Garoppolo having a solid game against Seattle.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to say Jimmy Garoppolo as well. But here's why. Elijah Mitchell's a star. Brandon Ayuk is ascending. We all know what George Kittle is. But I feel like this is the game where Jimmy Garoppolo has to do just a little bit more. And I don't mean Aaron Rodgers level of throws, anything like that. He just has to do a little more. And I think that this is the game that he will do that. And I think that he will get it done over here. Like, I mean, there's a lot of chatter about it. It's still, obviously, you just said 1 year. We're still talking about the quarterback position, and even while the team is winning. But I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have a very good game in this game. And he is going to make some throws that will win the game. I mean, not a game-winning drive, anything like that, but sustained drives, make big plays. I think that this is the Jimmy Garoppolo week, and I'm going to go with it for that. Bernard, thank you for the donation. Jason, you two are young men and will be successful because we love what you talk about, our Niners, and this 60-year-old man watches your YouTube. Bernard, we appreciate the donation, but less than that, the kind words probably mean more than that. And we're just happy that people appreciate our content, and that means more than any sort of amount of donation.
Bernard, I love you. I'm just gonna say that. Another name too I want to throw out there, and I know this got a little more up in the air today with Fred Warner being ruled doubtful, which I'm not complaining about. I'm not complaining about Fred Warner maybe playing on Sunday.
Sounds like he might. I have a hot take about that too.
But Azeez Al-Shaair, man, he's really looked good these past few weeks. He was gonna wear the green dot helmet. I don't know if he still has to, even though they announced it if Warner plays. If Warner plays, I'm assuming he gets the green dot helmet. But things like that, like Azeez Al-Shaair has been playing fine, and like honestly, he's really like a game-saving tackle away from being the Niners starting linebacker for the next 3 years in Seattle, so that's what I want to say. I think this could be a big Al-Shaair game as well. So I'll give you an offense and defense.
Okay. Here's something, and you guys can take me to task if it doesn't happen. I have a sneaking suspicion that Fred Warner is going to play in this game.
Yeah.
He's doubtful, and that usually means closer to out. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Fred Warner is going to play in this game. And if he's going to play, he's not going to play and be ineffective. So clip this. If it happens, then cool. If it doesn't, then, shout me out and say you are absolutely wrong. I have a very sneaky suspicion right now that Fred Warner is going to play in this game.
Well, yeah, and I think the way they kind of talked about him today versus because Sunday they pretty much ruled him out. They said, yeah, he's going to be out. Excuse me, as I burp. It just right into the mic. It was beautiful, beautiful moments from Red Option Podcast. We love it. 1 year. But he went from being out to being doubtful all of a sudden. Like that's the kind of change on that makes me feel like they're feeling good about where he's at. So that's another reason why you should be feeling good if he's playing, because the Niners are in a situation where they're not going to play Fred Warner if he's not 100%. You don't want to risk that. You do not want to risk that.
You need him for more games than this one.
He's way more important than playing him against the last place team, right? So, so you don't want to risk hurting him in a game like this yet, because it's. I know it's an important game, and it feels more important than it actually is, because the Niners are better than the Seahawks. I just think that's a fact. I know they lost earlier in the season, but the Giants were in the regular season the last time that game was played. The San Francisco Giants. That's how long ago they played. And so this one, it feels totally different. This feels less ominous, I guess you'd say. And we could dive into those feelings in a little bit, because there's still questions on if the Niners can beat the Seahawks. And I think there's specific reasons. I'm interested to see what Jason says. But yeah, Fred Warner he can play on Sunday. That's a huge boost, because I said on Monday, if he doesn't play, that's a bigger loss to the defense than the offense losing Deebo is.
Completely concur with that. And it's no slight at what Deebo Samuel has done, because he is the outright best player on his team this season, hands down. There is no argument, right? Every time you need a big play, it is Deebo Samuel. He literally saved the season in Chicago. I know that they went on to lose the game in Arizona, but without that play, the 3rd and 20 where he takes it damn near to the house, without that play, this team is nowhere right now. I understand all of that, but I concur with you, Andrew. In this game, that stadium gets loud. I expect the Seattle Seahawks to play their best game of the season, hands down. I expect Russell Wilson. I don't care what happened these last, 10, 11 weeks. I don't care. Guess what? Throw it out. Throw it all out. None of that matters going into this game. I fully expect the Seattle Seahawks team to come out juiced. Yeah. That stadium is going to be jacked. Their fan base, that group in that locker room, they know just like we know, they are on the doorstep of the end of an era. And the 49ers are in a position to end that era. Mm-hmm. Do not expect anything less than their best game. And Fred Warner being there would be that calming presence in the locker room. I mean, in the huddle. I was on Rob Shu's show, right?
Yeah.
And he talked about being in Seattle and being a fan. And he said it gets so loud that you feel it in your chest. That's how loud it gets. And for many of these guys, some were here in 2019, some weren't. Some have played there, but some have never been in this type of game in Seattle versus San Francisco. This is why I want Fred Warner to play in this game, or the loss of Fred, I feel, would be bigger than Deebo's loss, because Fred can look at people in the huddle and say, calm down, do your job, let's stay focused. And that would be the lift that the 49ers need, because I fear less for the offense, because I think the offense can do what they want to do against this defense, even though Seattle's defense is a little bit better than people are giving them credit for, than I do the defense. Like, I feel like the defense has to carry this game, because Russell Wilson on those back-breaking third down runs, those moon balls that all of a sudden out of nowhere when he spins out of a sack, all of those things are in his arsenal.
Yep.
And I understand how he's been playing. I understand the trepidation, hesitance to, well, he's been playing this bad. He can't. It's San Francisco. Somehow he will find a way to pull it out of his bag. So I want Fred to play in this game as bad as anybody.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to talk about, and I guess we'll go right into it because you mentioned it, is this is the first time the Niners are playing in Seattle with a crowd since the 2019 game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you think about it. Gray, thank you for the donation. We'll answer that.
Finish it. Yeah, finish it.
We're going to take questions later, so we'll put them on the screen and then we'll come back to them later. This is the first time the Niners are playing in front of a crowd in Seattle since 2019. So you put that into context. Trent Williams hasn't been part of a 49er Seahawks game in Seattle with the crowd.
Nope.
He doesn't know what that's like. Azeez Al-Shaair, man, he knows what it's like, but he has not been in a role like this before, in this important of a game, because, in 19, it was Greenlaw playing. Azeez Al-Shaair was more of a special teamers. This is his first opportunity. Do you think Elijah Mitchell has ever played in a building near what Seattle's going to be on Sunday? Do you think? No, I don't think
Well. Okay.
Ooh.
Yes, no. But also, those LSU games, when you go to those college stadiums, those get turned. I don't know if it's ever going to get to the decibel levels of Seattle, because that is the way that the acoustics. But
did Mitchell play against LSU? He went to Louisiana.
He's from LSU.
Louisiana.
He went
Raging
to Louisiana.
Cajuns.
He's a Raging Cajun. He didn't go to LSU.
Yeah, LSU is Louisiana State.
Oh, so he went to. All right, so
he's a Raging Cajun.
Take everything I just said and just toss it then.
Yeah, just ignore it. Listen to Andrew on the show all the time, never Jason.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you think Elijah Mitchell's ever been, back to the original point, do you think Elijah Mitchell's ever been in a stadium that's going to be this rowdy? Like, no. I know the game against the Packers was loud, but that's a home crowd. That's a home team. That's different. So things like that, it's a lot of these key players haven't been in this. So it's going to be interesting to see, because the crowd is going to be there. And I know we've made the jokes the past couple of weeks of last place Seahawks, but you don't think the Seahawks fans are going to notice that? And you know what, the perfect way to try and get things rolling, because we don't know what a playoff team looks like in 17 game seasons. Maybe 8 losses is enough, a 9-8 win. Maybe Seattle beats the Niners on Sunday and they start rolling. So this is an important game for both teams for completely different reasons. And the crowd is going to be a big factor.
Yeah, that's what I said. Their fan base knows. That group in the locker room knows. That organization knows what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. They're headed for a split, no matter what. It would take something miraculous to keep this all together, in like a playoff run, a deep playoff run. But yeah, I think that's the part that is lost upon people, is toss everything else that's out. They know what's going on right now. So let's take this question right here from Gray Fox. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you 100%. Hey, fellas, I'm going to the game as I live near Seattle. How do you think we can compensate on offense for Deebo's absence? Keep up the great work. This is a great question, Andrew. Do you want to start first?
Brandon Ayuk. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the simple answer is you remember how last week I said there was like tiers of what Kyle Shanahan's comfortable with right now, where he feels Garoppolo is, and Deebo is level 1, so he has low confidence. He just gets Deebo going, and then he works his way to Ayuk and Kittle. I think Ayuk is going to have to be 1 and 2. Crow makes a good point. Yeah, this is the Seahawks Super Bowl. This is a very big game for them. Ayuk's gonna have to be 1-2, man. Like Ayuk's gonna have to be that dude, and it's gonna be not just on Ayuk, but this is gonna have to also be a big Elijah Mitchell game because Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, once again, big part why Jason and I say MVP conversation is run game, pass game. So you have to replace him in the pass game, and you have to replace him in the run game, which maybe we'll get Trey Lance packages, Jason. I don't know. Maybe we get weird with the run game on Sunday. I don't know. You're probably not, Shannon. We'll see. But
well, I have a theory on that though.
Yeah. I'm ready. Let's hear. I want to hear it.
Oh, okay. So my theory on that is if you see Trey Lance, it's because of the game flow and how Kyle Shanahan feels about how this offense is going, right? If Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play the way that I believe that he's going to play in this game, which is well, that's it. I'm just sending positive vibes that way. I don't care about what this quarterback, discussion is. And I see people in the chat, they're alluding to something that happened last night. We're not going to be messy. We're not going to jump in that or anything like that.
Sprint right off the podcast.
Yeah, but
1 year.
But yes, 1 year. But if this offense needs a spark, and I'm going to point to the home opener, 49ers are down, 4th and goal. Kyle Shanahan literally pulls out just a run to the left side, get Trent Williams out there and block for him. If that is what's happening and the offense is stalling, then that's maybe when you see Kyle dip into that bag a little bit more. But if Jimmy Garoppolo is operating this offense with the efficiency that we saw in the second half, which was much more consistent, then I don't think you're going to see Trey. So I think it very much matters, the game flow, how the offense looks, and how Kyle Shanahan feels in terms of confidence, right? So what I want to point to is last week, Jimmy Garoppolo starts the game a little high, misses a read, throws an interception. Kyle Shanahan takes the plays out of the playbook. Like I feel like he rips those out of the playbook and is like, listen, we can't go to these anymore. This is it. It's done. So that takes it away. He gets back to basics. And then Jimmy Garoppolo starts to operate the offense. Like the second half, Jimmy Garoppolo made some throws that if Aaron Rodgers made that throw, Patrick Mahomes made that throw, people would be drooling. Also, they ran sprint right option in this game, in this Vikings game. Yes, they did. It's literally what we're like. They literally ran it on the touchdown to Jawan Jennings. That is sprint right option. That is it right there. That is what they called. That is a staple of a lot of people's playbooks. Also, Indianapolis ran it against the Tampa Bay Bucks on the touchdown to T.Y. Hilton. So, shameless plug. But if this offense is stalling in any way, or Kyle Shanahan's confidence gets shaken in any way, in terms of I need a big play or I need something to jolt this offense and score, then you may see Trey. But if Jimmy's operating this offense in the way that I believe he will, the way that I'm predicting him to, then I don't think you see Trey Lance. So I think that's the best way to put it.
Well, I could see it not even be a question of how well Garoppolo's playing. It could come down to Brett's the smartest man in the world.
Yes, if Brett's saying it, then.
If Brett's saying it, listen to Brett. Is it's not even going to come down to how Garoppolo's doing. It might be, oh, hello, welcome, Anthony. Appreciate it from Egypt, Anthony. 4 a.m. Good morning.
Good morning, and from Egypt, and congratulations for traveling and jet setting like that, man. That's awesome.
Love it. It won't even come down to how Garoppolo's doing. If the run game's not going and he's trying to figure it out, I wouldn't be surprised if Shanahan throws Lance out there just to see if he can get something going. So I think that's going to be a curious thing to watch. How much he uses Lance, I don't know. Probably 3 snaps if we even see him. But I could see it being like, hey, Mitchell hasn't had a 10-yard run in 2 quarters. We need a spark because Trey Sermon's also out. Jeff Wilson's been all right in the run game since he's returned.
That's you being nice. We like Jeff Wilson. You
love Jeff Wilson.
Big Jeff Wilson. You're being nice. You're being nice though.
Yes, I love Jeff Wilson. So maybe he says, hey, this is a situation. I'd go to Deebo. Hey, 5, get in there. Let's see if we get something going. And maybe we see a more exotic run game than he offered with Lance in the Arizona game. So I think there's a lot of possibilities. But to go back to the original question, I think to replace the production of Deebo, you got to get it in both places. And that's just automatically going to be Brandon Ayuk and Elijah Mitchell.
And that's the thing, right? And this is obviously I've been getting crushed for my take on who I believe is the best rookie running back, and unfortunately, it wasn't Elijah Mitchell. But
Yeah.
it's been out of necessity that Kyle has had to turn it over to Elijah Mitchell for the fact that Trey Sermon has done something behind the scenes that nobody likes and obviously fell out of favor. Jeff Wilson hasn't exactly returned to the form that we thought he would because I believe he's a solid player. Jermichael Hasty is just, he's going to be back in this game, but I wouldn't say that he is some sort of relief or anything like that. If you notice the Jacksonville game, Deebo Samuel is the second most efficient runner in that game. Same thing with this last game. And now he's not there. So if there's a person that I'm looking to on this offense to step up and alleviate some of the stress that is being put on Elijah Mitchell, because for all of that given, he's been great. Jeff Wilson, this is your time now, buddy. Like, this is it, man. If you are what we believe you are, because we've seen you be a bell cow, and we've seen you be the guy who has taken 25, 30 touches and do it. Is that knee bothering you, or is that injury slowing you up a little bit more? Or, like, if there's someone who can, out of nowhere, affect this game or put his mark on this game, and if Jeff Wilson joins this game and he is any sort of boost,
yes,
it takes pressure off of Elijah Mitchell, man. I get that Elijah Mitchell has been doing it, but I don't want to keep asking him to do that. And I think that Kyle's doing it out of necessity more than it is some change in philosophy, more than anything.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And I want to go to Vince's question, who's playing linebacker with all the injuries. Fred might play. Fred Warner might play. I'm feeling good about. I'm feeling better about it than I did 2 days ago. So I mean, I would expect to see Warner and Alshire, and if not, it'd probably be Alshire and Harris, TFF.
Well, Marcel is, again, we're going to find out. He has time to progress through the protocol. From everything I've heard, he should be fine, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be playing. I would expect if push comes to shove, Hufanga is pushed into more of a role at the line of scrimmage. Again, putting your players in position to win, putting Hufanga in a spot where if he has to make pass breakups there in the intermediate route, he doesn't have to do anything over his head or diagnose anything, but he also gets to get downhill and go to whatever he sees, because the guy runs hard. And we all love him, but we just fear when he's put in positions where he has to diagnose coverages and he's out there by himself, and he won't have to in this game. I expect a bunch of Tart and Ward. Those guys are going to be on the field a ton in this game. Yep. And if there is some sort of linebacker help, then Hufanga will be on the field. And another thing I want to point to is the front four. You're not getting D Ford back, it doesn't look like, in this game. Mo Hurst is not going to play in this game. The way to stop Russell Wilson is to get pressure on him. And that 4 is not going to be able to do it as bad as that offensive line is for Seattle. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to blitz a little bit more, send more guys. Hufanga can be that guy, and that can be where I have a feeling Hufanga is going to have a really big game in this game. If Fred is not, if Fred is not able to go, I think he's going to be able to go. But I think you're still going to see Hufanga in certain situations. I think that he loves what he can do in terms of getting to the quarterback, blitzing. He needs to be able to play with instinct. Don't ask him to diagnose stuff right now, because that's not part of his game. That'll come. That'll develop. That will develop. But right now, let him play with instinct. Let him diagnose the runs. Let him diagnose where he has to go with his blitzes and send him. And I think this is a game where Hufanga can really leave his mark on this one as well, too. One thing I wanted to point out, too, Dylan, when I say I'm disappointed, it's more about, us. We know you.
Oh, man.
We've been in clubhouses. You should know the humor. And you know what I'm talking about, buddy. I was
texting Jason, like, when's he gonna realize?
Right.
When is he gonna realize that we're joking?
And that's the thing, Dylan, is when we say we're disappointed, it's like, like my dad, sometimes he would walk in the room and just be like, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed in you. Man. And that's it.
It was meant to hurt.
That's it. And that's it, Dylan. Like, we're not trying to shame you or anything like that. It's just, we think that highly of you, that we thought you would get.
We thought you would get it.
We thought you would get the bit. So
I'm still kind of confused, though, why the Niners don't have a first-round pick. But we don't need to dive into that.
We don't need to dive into that right now.
Can I go into a little bit of some numbers I was looking at? Because I bragged about it. Andrew Rich Madrid Pasquini over here watching tape on the Washington football team game. Dylan had to reflect after.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't think
We're
about
just
it too much
joking.
longer
Come
than
on,
you
don't
do.
do
We
that.
love
Don't do
you.
that. Don't do that.
So I was curious because Seattle's defense to me is kind of mysterious because they don't look good, but they don't give up points, and it's kind of perplexing. Like it's a little bit, and you look at some of these numbers, just like straight numbers. Atlanta. I'm reading the word Atlanta. Seattle's defense is 24th in the league in pressure percentage. This is just getting after the quarterback for pass rush. They're 24th in the league in pressure percentage. They're 20th in total pressures. They are 30th in the league in sacks. So they're not good at creating pressure. They're not even good. They're worse at getting sacks. They blitz about a quarter of the time, which is middle of the pack, and they force hurries about middle of the pack, 11%. So the pass rush isn't very good. The secondary isn't very good. They're 15th in total air yards. And the thing I said earlier about them giving a lot of space might help the Niners. They're 15th in total air yards, which is middle of the pack. They've allowed the third most yards after catch in the league. What does the Niners offense do really well? Yards after the catch. And if you want kind of a rough idea of how bad Seattle is against yards against the catch, the Vikings are ranked 4th in the league, or the 4th worst defense in yards against catch. Niners just played them, so we kind of get to see what it looked like. The Niners had 124 yards after the catch on 230 total passing yards. So this is a thing that the Niners can kind of pound. The run defense is okay. It's a top 10 unit. Their run defense is good. But they also allow the longest drives in the league. 3 minutes and 18 seconds on average is their average drive. That's the longest in the league. So why? So all that doesn't make Seattle sound very good. So what makes Seattle good, Jason? They're tied for 6th fewest points per game allowed, 20 points a game. They're very good not allowing points. The reason, they allow a touchdown in the red zone 50% of the time. That is 4th best in the league. 22 of the 44 red zone possessions the Seattle defense has seen, they have not allowed a touchdown.
Yeah.
Guess what the Niners lead the league in right now, Jason Fonte?
Red zone efficiency.
Red zone touchdowns. 77.4% of red zone drives this season. The Niners have scored a touchdown in the red zone.
Thank God, because then you don't need to rely on a kicker.
Yes, that too. So I got curious. I was like, okay, so the Niners are really good at scoring in the red zone. The Seahawks are really good at not giving up points in the red zone, and that's why they don't give up a lot of points. In their week 5 matchup, Jason Aponte, the 49ers had 13 total drives. One got into the red zone. And guess what happened on that one drive they got into the red zone?
Touchdown?
They scored a touchdown to make it 28-21 with a minute to left. They didn't get the onside kick. The Niners are going to have to get to the red zone and execute in the red zone. That's how you beat the Seahawks. Their defense is not great. They're quick. Their defense is quick. I think a large part of why their run game is they're so good at the run is they're really good at pursuing gaps and cutting off plays and not allowing bigger plays like that. But if the Niners can get into the red zone and be what they are in the red zone, I don't think this game is going to be close. But if the Niners can't get in the red zone, it might be not close the other way. So there's my spiel. I looked at the Seahawks defense because I've just been kind of perplexed by it. And these numbers are just so interesting. They're not good against the pass, period. They're not good against the pass. They're okay. They're pretty good against the run. But it comes down to being successful. First of all, getting into the red zone for the Niners and scoring in the red zone. And yeah, I did just say score more points. Niners are 6-0 and they score more points than their opponent per Jesse Rodriguez stats and info.
So before I get into this real quick, for everybody in here, we're about 35 minutes in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure that sends it into the algorithm. If you're not subscribed already and you're new here, please do that and hit the notification bell for any time that we go live on here. Here's my devil's advocate take on this.
Yes.
There are matchups that the Seahawks defense present that will give the 49ers problems. Okay? Tom Compton has been solid. Mm-hmm. And fine. And very fine. And yes. I'm sorry, Tom Compton.
We're sorry.
Yeah. Carlos Dunlap is very good.
Carlos Dunlap is very good.
And if the 49ers are in a position where running the ball isn't something that is moving the way that it has been, and now Tom Compton. You know what's funny? Kyle Shanahan today in his press conference said something that the Sprint Ride Option podcast has been saying.
We said it?
Yeah.
Do you think he watches? Do you think Kyle Shanahan's Don Burr?
I think that you and I are in lockstep with Coach.
Ooh, I like this.
So he talked about Tom Compton. He talked about Jalen Moore. And he talked about what they struggle in particularly. And he made a statement saying, you don't want to really have a position where you are in a position to call plays where the right tackle has to pass block a bunch. Wow. We've been saying that.
Weird.
Because everyone's like, oh, well, they're fine without McGlinchey. No, Kyle Shanahan is scheming around that right now. And he also said that you can't go through the bumps and bruises that Jalen Moore is going through right now because right now they're trying to win. And Tom Compton is just playing better. All right. So having said all that, Dunlap presents a problem. And if you are not able to run the ball and he's able to get to the quarterback or be in obvious passing situations, you're not ahead of the sticks, that's a problem, okay? 2 linebackers on this team cause problems. Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks, they're very fast. They play hard, and the both of them. And there's a safety on this team that's really good, and his name's not Jamal Adams.
I was going to say that.
It's Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs is the best safety on this team, and it didn't cost them 2 first-round picks or whatever it is for it.
It's weird.
So I understand all those numbers, and I understand the trends. But my mind, the way it works is matchups. And how do matchups affect more than trends and the stats, right? There has to be a balance between stats and what teams present to you in matchups. And that's the portion that has me a little bit nervous. If this game doesn't go the way that the 49ers believe, running the ball 30, 35 times, being able to sustain drives, getting on third downs, but if the third downs are longer, Dunlap gets a chance to get at Tom Compton because you need more yards. Those are the things that make me a little bit nervous. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I am just trying to be like straight up football mind because I feel like Seattle's defense is ridiculed a little bit more than it should be. If that defense even got an offense that was replacement level worthy right now, they would have more wins. Easily. And that doesn't mean Hall of Fame defense. That doesn't mean top line defense. That just means they're fine and they are solid. And this 49er team, now that they're down Deebo Samuel, for you to expect them to just go ahead and do what they've been doing with the Rams, with the Jaguars, and for a little while in that game, the Vikings, I think that's a little bit like I want to pump the brakes on that just a little bit. That's it. Just a little bit.
That's fair. And yeah, I think that's our fundamental differences between you and I. I think I'm a big numbers guy. I like the numbers. I try and make the numbers make sense with what I see. And you're more of a matchup and you know how to look at that stuff. And actually, that Diggs play, I don't know if did you watch the tape? Did you watch the Seahawks defense tape?
No.
Okay.
I watched the game though, and here's the thing that I noticed is real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You'd always
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Jason.
I just noticed that their defense, and obviously Washington football team doesn't present the problems that the 49ers do. In terms of personnel, their scheme is fine because it's very much what you saw in Carolina. Obviously, Ron Rivera brought that over. But they're solid. And that's the thing is at home, solid, big boost from the crowd. Things start to go your way a little bit, right? Like I'm just speaking from a 49er fan perspective. I have PTSD because in terms of Seattle, there's only 2 ways for a 49er fan that these Seattle games go in Seattle. Putting 2019 aside. Let's just put 2019 aside because that's
the outlier.
Right. It's either the Seattle Seahawks destroy the 49ers or they rip their heart out.
That's literally what I was going to say. I was literally going to say rip your heart out.
They like that's it. There's only 2 ways that these Seattle games go. And I get this isn't the same Seattle teams, blah, 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 blah. I have PTSD, and I am bracing for the worst. I am. So when you look at a defense that's solid, an energy in that stadium that will be juiced because that fan base, that locker room, that organization, they all understand what they're on the doorstep of. This is a chance for the 49ers to do what we've always wanted them to do, is end an era. And they all understand that.
Yeah.
I expect them to lay it all on the line, empty the tank. And that's a little bit of my fear. I don't mean to be Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be logical. Just trying to be objective.
Trying to be realistic here. The Sprint
that's
Right
it.
Option podcast celebrating 1 year. If you haven't heard,
Oh.
all right, guys. If you guys have questions, start shooting them now. And if you asked some earlier that we haven't touched, send them
We will
again
get back
so
to
we
them.
don't have to go through the questions, all the comments again. I saw Alec ask a question that I want to answer again because
Let me see if I get back to it.
I've decided I like my answer on that question. So if you guys have asked
Is
questions,
it about Kimmy, Kittle and Jimmy?
It's about Kittle and Jimmy, yeah. But we'll get back that one.
We'll
No,
throw
it's a little higher up. Alec, if you're still here, just shoot the question through again.
This one?
No, it's a little higher up, but that's okay, Jason. We're gonna get into predictions. We're gonna predict the final score. There it is, because I like my theory. The more I've talked myself into my theory, the more I've liked it. I don't know if that's good. Final score predictions. What are the 49ers do? What are they gonna do? How are they gonna look? What's the final score up in Seattle, Jason?
49ers win 24-21 in a dogfight.
Okay.
And this has always been the litmus test for a 49ers team. Let me take you back to 2019. The 49ers have had the highest of highs. They went into the Superdome and beat the New Orleans Saints. All of that feels like, okay, that's fine. Can you beat Seattle in Seattle? And then they go ahead and do that. And I felt after that 2019 game, and many in the league felt, okay, nobody's stopping you now. And I don't want to get to, I don't want to jump into hyperbole. But if the 49ers can do what I believe they're going to do in this game, and you go in there and you slay the boogeyman and you finish the job, what are you afraid of anymore at this point? Anyone. Not Dallas, not Green Bay, not Tampa Bay, none of them at this point. You slay the boogeyman, and now you become that team that you want to be going into the playoffs of the team that nobody wants to play. And right here, it's in front of you. You have a chance now. Because if you beat Seattle, let's just say Fred doesn't play. Let's just say, I mean, obviously Deebo's not going to play. You literally send a message to the league. Oh, okay. We're on this time. You better catch up and be on our time. And I think that is what is in front of this 49ers team. 24-21, 49ers win. And they win in the grittiest of ways, not the dance. The grittiest of ways. And they sent a message to the league. You're on notice.
Yes.
And don't have the 49ers come up on your schedule.
Yes. I don't think I could have said it any better myself. Weatherman Andrew, it's supposed to rain. But then Sunday, it's just going to be a little cloudy up there in Seattle. And then it's supposed to snow on Monday. So Niners catch a little bit of a break with the weather up in Seattle. Oh man. Final score prediction. 49ers 27. Seahawks, I'm going to pick a number they like, 12. 27-12. 49ers win by 15 points. It's not even close.
Poetic.
It's not even one of those close. I will say, just to throw it back, 1 year Sprint Red Option podcast. I think Kerry Hyder triples his sack total on the season in this game.
Oh no! What do you mean? Like, we're big Kerry Hyder supporters, but
yeah, he goes from 0.5 to 1.5. That's tripling his sack total, just one sack.
Oh, okay.
I'm a very big Kerry Hyder guy, and I want to see
math is hard for me.
I want to see him succeed. So I think it'd be cool if he gets a sack. I don't know, just because I like Kerry Hyder. I know they're the Seahawks. But yeah, 27-12. I really like what the Niners defenses look like the past couple of weeks. I don't think that something about the Seahawks, and maybe it's just Russell Wilson's finger. Their offense isn't scaring me as much anymore.
The finger aside, he's been doing the same thing since last season.
Yeah. So the same thing he's been doing.
To do with it. Yeah.
And I think the receivers in Minnesota is probably going to be the hardest group they face. I think I know DK Metcalf's good. He hasn't been great this year. So I really could see this being a game where the Niners defense actually locks up the Seahawks offense. So 27-12, 12th man ends the Seahawks reign of terror in the NFC West.
I love it, Andrew. And I hope that that's a score because I don't need one of those. You have to
Yeah.
stop them on the last drive or score on the last drive. I don't need that. I really don't need that. My blood pressure doesn't need that. And I don't even know if my blood pressure is good or bad because I don't go see the doctor. But yeah,
Not a big doctor guy here.
not
So
a big doctor guy.
if you guys have questions, start
Send
shooting
them
them
in.
this way. Alec, who do you think
Let's
is
go.
the blame for Kittle's lack of touches in the pass game lately? Is it Jimmy for not seeing him, or is it Kyle using him more often in the run game? So
You
the
go first.
theory I kind of floated out there on Monday, and I don't know if it's a good enough theory to even repeat, Alec, and I don't know if you heard it, is I really think Kyle Shanahan has a comfort tier of where Garoppolo gets his targets at. And I think the reason Deebo has been used so heavily is Deebo was option A. When Garoppolo, you don't feel very comfortable, you're just trying to get quick passes into Deebo Samuel's hand and get him going. And I think the reason Ayuk didn't get going until later in the season is I don't think maybe Shanahan wasn't comfortable with Garoppolo working those progressions. I don't know. I'm using words I don't even fully understand at this point, but I'm just spitting it out there. And I think Kittle's on that third tier of when I'm feeling good with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now we're going to work in some progressions to Kittle and get him going. That's really, and I don't know how much fact is there to that. That's the only way it makes sense in my head because we know how good George Kittle can be. And I think the reason we've seen Ayuk get more targets the past couple of weeks is maybe Shanahan's starting to feel more comfortable with Ayuk as a receiver, and that's why maybe Deebo has been going more into the run game. Maybe he wants Ayuk to get more, and then have Ayuk or Deebo be the second guy, not the second game, the second guy on that chart. So I know it's a very long conspiracy, I guess, but it makes sense in my head, and so obviously that means it makes sense in everybody else's.
So what I'll say is this: I think it's game to game dependent, Alec. And I think that he called up that shot for Kittle and it was wide open. And again, I'm going to go to my conspiracy theory in terms of okay, he didn't see him. He threw a ball where he locked in on a receiver and he threw it over his head. I'm ripping that out of the playbook and now I don't feel comfortable calling those anymore. I don't feel comfortable getting him there. And now this is turning into after you see that throw, after you see the interception, this is going to turn into a straight run game. So I think that it's very game specific and it's very much what Kyle sees while the game is going on. I think that once Kyle sees one of those, as Andrew Pasquini, the GOAT, quotes it, one of those no throws.
Oh, no throws, scientific term.
He's just like, all right, that's it. I'm done. And that's it. We're just going to rip it out and we're done with it. So I that's my conspiracy theory on that. And I think that, again, it works when you know the defense in front of you is vulnerable to the run. You can go right back to it. It kind of snapped Kyle right back into his okay, I understand the fronts. I understand what's going on. Maybe Jimmy doesn't have it this week, and we're going to go away from that. And that's it. And I think that that's my conspiracy theory, and that's my spiel on it real quick. So we got some more questions coming in. Go for it.
That was the next question I was going to say. Anthony Powers out in Egypt. We love him. Do you see more screens on offense to Jennings and Ayuk? I'll let Jason go first on this one.
I think it's going to be Ayuk. I think that what you're going to see in this game is more similar to the guy that you saw last season who was baking every single number one corner, including Tre'Davious White. I hope you heal up and feel better, buddy. I understand that you're out for the year. I think that you are about to see what you saw last year. Touch passes to Ayuk against Dallas, where he literally just runs those same Deebo sort of routes. Tunnel screens, the Jumpman logo, the one of him jumping over the guy in Philly. You are going to see those things again because he is in a space where Kyle completely trusts him. He is blocking like a madman. He's blocking so well that cornerbacks are trying to fight him after the play. That is what Kyle Shanahan wants to see. And I think that it's going to be Brandon Ayuk. But what I will say about Jennings is I believe that he is that red zone target that people have been clamoring for. And we make the joke, three targets to Kittle in the red zone, 3 touchdowns, 3 completions. But right now, what Jennings is doing in terms of his ferocity in the run blocking game, and then you put in his height. He ran that whip route perfectly. He ran sprint right option. He ran it perfectly. That was good ball placement by Jimmy Garoppolo. I loved it. And I think that Jennings is going to be involved. He will be involved. This is a game where Jennings gets 3-4 catches. whether that's a touchdown or not. But I have to believe that it's Brandon Ayuk. He's ascending at the perfect time. And I don't want to say perfect time because there's never a good time to lose Deebo Samuel. But he is playing so well that that's why I feel a little bit better about Deebo Samuel's absence than I do Fred Warner's absence.
Perfectly said. I think Ayuk is going to be the guy to get screens. You know who I think of when I think of Jawan Jennings, Jason Aponte, and it's a name I mention a lot on this podcast because I miss him more than I miss. I don't know what I miss more than I miss baseball because baseball's in a lockout. Kendrick Bourne. He's not necessarily the dude who's gonna be the open space guy like Brandon Ayuk, which is what you're doing on screen. He's the dude who's gonna you need 8 yards. He's gonna run 9, sink his butt, turn around, box it out, and make that tough catch. 12 pounds. So yeah, I don't think you're going to see Jawan Jennings used like that, but I think Jawan Jennings, he's the new Kendrick Bourne of this offense, and I think he has a great skill set to do that. So there it is.
Yeah, real quick, I'll answer this one. Lake Show is asking, how much do you weigh, Aponte? I am 6'5", and I weigh 175 pounds. That's why you see such a slim frame. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I'm 6'1" and 213 of pure beer in my belly. Bernard, Jason, you are correct. I get high blood pressure when the Niners are behind, but have no fear. But there we go. He has his meds. That's all that matters. I saw a question that I liked. Let me see if I could find it.
Tell me.
Lake Show, just win, baby. That's another team.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. That's another team. Actually, I want to. Can you go to Alex thingy? Do you think that Kyle may be preserving Kittle? He seems to get injured playing the pass more often than the run. Maybe Kyle is trying to keep Kittle healthy for the stretch. I'm going to disagree with you on that, Alec, because the Niners, they've been in the stretch for the past month and a half. They have been in a situation where they have needed to win games. That's what happens when you start 2-4. So what happens when you start 2-5 is you get new stretches in October, in November, where you're saying, oh my goodness, it's way too early to have to win all these games. So I think that's the answer that might make sense. But if you think about it, man, the Niners have been in this quote unquote stretch run for about 5 weeks now since the Bears game. I mean, really the Bears game after they lose to who'd they lose to before the Bears? That was Arizona. That was Arizona. When you lose to Arizona in Arizona, and you fall to 2-5 or 2-4, especially with the way the division was at that time with Arizona. I think they were still undefeated at that time. You had the Rams clicking, and I know obviously the Rams are a little more sus because their quarterback's a little injured, and that's what happens when you play a quarterback
and their play caller.
And their play caller.
A little bit. Sean McVay's got to hold a little bit of this too.
Their play caller is going into the same funk that the Niners play caller went into a couple months ago.
Oh, it happens. Oh,
weird how that works. So yeah, the Niners have been in the stretch for a month and a half now. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think he's saving it for, because these are the games you need to save him for.
Alec, I just think that this is so specific to what's going on and what Kyle believes, man. Kyle is very rigid, and that's one of the things that I kind of gripe with him about, even though, we run Only Shans over here. But I think that game to game, it goes on what he believes, what he sees, what he's going to be running with. So, I can't say that Kyle is deliberately saying, hey, we're gonna hold Kittle, for these things. I think that when he sees certain things during the game, he gets a little gun shy and just rips plays out of the playbook and just says, "That's it, we're not running that anymore." So yeah, man. Here's a good question.
Niners Sickness Podcast, guys. Who's your MVP for this game?
Ooh, you go first or me?
You.
Okay.
You. Yeah, Jason first.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to do a little bit more in this game. And as impressed as I was with him in the second half, he is going to have to do more. You are going to have to quiet that crowd on third down. It gets loud. You're going to have to throw that ball and make the right decision. And I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo right now is going to be put in position to win. And I think that this is the week where I don't know why anybody's still talking about Trey Lance at this point, especially with the team winning. You can't just take 2 drives and say that's it, like it's time for him to go. I think that that's all been done since Chicago when Trey came out at halftime and was warming up, and Jimmy went out there, and people had their thoughts about, well, this is simple, whatever, can you get it done? But I think there's Jimmy Garoppolo in this game. And I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to help exercise some demons for a lot of 49ers fans, because as good as 2019 feels, this has to happen right now. This 49ers team cannot lose this game. And I think that he's going to make some throws in this game that is going to make even the staunchest Jimmy Garoppolo op or hater, I guess is the word, that where you'll even be able to say, hey, man, he played well in this game.
Yeah, he's had a couple games like that already where you should say, hey, he played well this game. I am going to go Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Jesse
agrees with you.
I think Seattle has the third most sacks allowed, 35. They're not a very good offensive line. Nick Bosa in his rookie year had no sacks against the Seahawks. 2 games, couldn't quite get it done. He had 1 earlier this year. He has 11 sacks. And I've been saying, hey, Jason, if he can have 1 like 3-sack game, 3.5 sack game, we're talking about Strahan's record. Sunday, he's going to figure out Seattle. He's going to figure out Seattle. If we're going to have a 3-sack game from Nick Bosa, I think this is the game he shows out. He's going to have 3.5 sacks, and we will come back on Monday and we will say Nick Bosa is in the conversation with Michael Strahan's record. So I'll go Bosa.
I love it. And I'm glad that we went 2 different ways. This is a good one from Buggin with the Scooby-Doo avatar. Is Shanahan going to wear the beanie at this game? You know what I need? I need dripped out Shanahan from Green Bay.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
All black.
Yes.
All black with the Shanahan. All black. Like, look, the stink face. Like, he went out there and he crafted a game plan for CJ Beathard to hit Marquise Goodwin in Lambeau. I need that Shanahan. I need in the bag, black, all black, hoodie under the fire jacket. I need that Shanahan. Forget the red Shanahan hat. I need all blacked out Green Bay, Lambeau, CJ Beathard, that game. I need that Kyle Shanahan in this game.
Am I doing this right? Am I doing this? Can you let that into the
oh,
show?
Yeah.
Respect the draft.
Yeah.
This is the outfit. If Shanahan wore Kyle, I know you're watching. Don Burr, you're somewhere here. This.
Oh, yeah.
Niners don't lose again if you wear this every game. I don't care if it's 80 degrees in Santa Clara in January, my guy. You're wearing that. Respect the drip. It's cold in Seattle. We need to be warm. There.
Look at
that. There.
That's my coach, man.
We're just leaving.
That's my coach, man.
I'm just leaving this up on the screen. This is just how we're ending the podcast with good looking. I'm gonna close some of these tabs so you guys can't. No, I'm joking.
What's up in these tabs?
It's just a bunch of football stuff. Don't worry about it, guys. There it is. Yeah, that's what we need from Kyle Shanahan. Just look at him. Debbie, but they are playing in Seattle. Will they call holding? Never know. Seattle seems to get away with a lot of that stuff. I don't know why.
Seattle gets every single call every single time. I've already put my rant out there. It's out there on Twitter and everything as well too. I've never seen a team who gets every single call, every single bounce. They literally almost had every single bounce in that Washington game. Bring them back. They almost got a onside kick that, if not for 49ers legend Nick Bellore, didn't line up all sides. They literally had Joey Sly, 49ers legend, get injured in that game, and that was the only reason that game wasn't put away. That's the fear with Seattle. But if Kyle comes out in this outfit, Niners by a million.
Niners by a million. Yes, Niners by a million. Niners Sickness Podcast has another question I want to say that I want to kind of give a joke answer, but I also kind of don't. Adrian Peterson. The Seahawks.
Oh,
no. No. I know that sounds wild, but the Seahawks don't run the ball well. And if you can just take the run away.
Not worried about the run game.
Not worried about the run game. Okay, I just want to throw it out there. Probably DK Metcalf.
Yes. That's
it's always going to be DK until then.
Look, I mean, breaking news, the most obvious thing in the world, you had to figure that the Seahawks were going to find a way to try to get DK Metcalf involved, for him to have a catch in the last 35 seconds of that Washington football game is egregious. It is malpractice. It is the wrong thing to do. And then you had the offensive coordinator for Seattle come out today and talk about, yes, we are going to get him involved. I really believe squeaky wheel gets the grease. And in this case, DK Metcalf is the one thing that I'm afraid of, because if he is lined up against our favorite cornerback in the world, who is the best in coverage and does everything well and never does anything wrong, Josh Norman,
They call
then
it the
everything
Norman
should be.
punch, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as Norman punches out a 1 or 2 fumbles and blows his assignments, continues to have penalties, he should be fine. I'm obviously joking and being sarcastic if you guys haven't picked up on that, but I do believe that the Seahawks will come out, and I didn't need the offensive coordinator to come out and say this, that the Seahawks will come out and find a way to get the ball to DK Metcalf. So that is my thing. If he starts to get going, what does that do to the 49ers defense? Does that force Emmanuel Mosley to go follow him? Does that force you to get out of your comfort zone? So again, every week is playing with fire with Josh Norman. You're playing with fire.
Mm-hmm.
You are waiting for it to blow up in your face. I don't want it to be this week. I don't want it to be any week. But that is my fear, because I know for a fact that they're going to force feed the ball to DK Metcalf in this game.
Debbie's brain is in the right place. AP does have a fumble history, just saying.
So put Josh Norman at linebacker and stop having him cover receivers, for God's sakes.
Verbal meme. Josh Norman looking at Adrian Peterson, and it's the guy with his hands together, like licking his lips. I'm going to make that right now. That's what I'm going to do. Odds Warner plays. We touched on this, Michael, but if you just joined, we'll touch on it again.
I think he plays.
With the things he said, with the things he said today. Yeah, like as we said, we talked about it on Monday. They pretty much ruled him out on Sunday for this game, and today he's magically doubtful.
I think he plays. I think that whatever, sneaking suspicion, like I said, cut this clip, dunk on me after it doesn't happen, but I think he plays. That's my bold prediction for this game, is that Fred Warner's going to play in this game.
Perfect. Do we have any final questions before we've been here for an hour? I could do this for another 3, to be honest. Maybe we'll do that one. Maybe we'll just take questions for a whole episode and just
we should. No, an hour's good. An hour's good. Shout out to everybody who is in here, everybody who shows up every single week, every single time that we stream this podcast. Again, if you are here and you've never been here before, please shoot a like onto this video. Help us get noticed. Help us send this into the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Andrew, 1 year.
Yes. 1 year.
1 year. 1 year, man.
1 year, 1 year. And I mean, the good news is, for the people who've been with us for 1 year, is we legally can't talk about baseball. So this is a football only podcast until we legally can talk about baseball. What's
not
baseball?
A real sport? Not a real sport.
Baseball, as Alex Rodriguez once said. Do I think Kittle's lost a step or still a little injured? No, I just think they're not using him. I feel like that's just kind of the answer. I think that's the short, quick answer, because we're wrapping up. The Anchor, I appreciate you being here. First time I've seen your name. If you haven't yet, subscribe, like, notifications. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you, The Anchor. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody here from, I mean, listen, we don't make it. I hate to be cliche. Jason, but if, this isn't like Major League Baseball needs their players to have a league. We needed you guys to make this work. And I mean, to have, I know we hit 99 watching. I mean, to have numbers like that, thinking that we would do that for, at the start of this, thinking we'd have 100 people watching us is wild to me, Jason. And like, I could name so many of them. Sin. Dylan's in here. Alec has been a day 1. Don Burr has been a day like 300, but like he's in the group now. We love Don Burr. Don't let the Lions make the playoffs. I know that graphic went around. Don't let it happen. Don Burr would be so insufferable, and like I'll be happy for him. He'll just be going everywhere. So like we really appreciate all of you guys. The Anchor, especially you. You're new, but hey, you're here, and that's all that matters. Tell your friends. Tell your what I do is when I take lifts, Jason, is I'm like, hey, let me put the music on. Let me put my fire Olivia Rodrigo on. Got to get some bops.
I saw your Spotify rap.
My Spotify rap, baby. Everybody loves Spotify rap. And what I do though is what they don't know is I type in, play my music, but then I type Sprint Right Option Podcast, subscribe. Boom. They don't know it. They don't need to know. I just subscribe for them, and maybe one day they'll like us, one day they won't. If you see us in line at a Stanford football game waiting to get our COVID cards checked, you can come say hi. We'll always be cool with that.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. I forget who it was. And if you're here, the guy who said hi to us at the Stanford game, we love you. We love everybody. We love everybody here. We love everybody here. I guess that's it. I don't know, Jason. It's been 1 year and we haven't had a way to sign out. So I guess like the best way is, Jason, what do we say as always?
Let's go Niners and end the Seahawks.
End the Seahawks. Go Supersonics.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.